Robert Oppenheimer. I'm sure you've all seen the movie that recently came out. In Oppenheimer, it mainly talks about him making the bomb, but there's also a subplot that is related to McCarthyism. I'm sure you've noticed when watching the movie that there's a lot of focus around the Communist Party. That is because right after World War II ended due to the bomb that Oppenheimer helped make, we had something called the Red Scare. The Red Scare was basically just a very huge time period right after World War I, where everyone thought everyone else, at least people who had very leftist views, was a communist. To clarify about the Red Scare, the first Red Scare happened as a result of the bombings in 1919. The second Red Scare, which is what Oppenheimer was a victim of, happened because of McCarthyism, which I'm about to talk about. There's actually a word for it. It's called McCarthyism. That is because the Red Scare was very much influenced by Senator Joseph McCarthy. It's starting to look more like a slideshow about Oppenheimer, so I'm going to get into the real topic. Robert Oppenheimer is a modern tragic hero. Here's why. Hamartia is a fatal flaw in a character that causes basically all of their downfall. There's many different things that led to the downfall of Oppenheimer, but the main thing is his involvement with the Communist Party. Another, of course, is the mental damage of being directly associated with the immediate death of around 200,000 people, but hey. Peripatio, which is bad luck, is exampled in going with his primary example for Hamartia. Oppenheimer's past involvement in the Communist Party had caused the people of America to grow suspicious of him. Following World War I was the Red Scare, a period in American history, causing a widespread fear of far leftist movements and anarchism that could be considered communist behaviors. People suspected of being communists were often arrested, especially following a series of anarchist bombings in 1919, which only fueled the fire of the Red Scare. Oppenheimer's involvement in top-secret scientific research was seen as threatening to American security in the event that he was a communist, which he testified he was not. Anagnorisis, which is revelation, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing these correctly, is supported by Oppenheimer's revelation, aided his downfall significantly, especially when he began to speak out against the use of atomic bombs. This kind of behavior, speaking out against the government, was seen as potentially anarchist behavior. When Oppenheimer came to terms with what the bomb had been used for, he held a very different view on the project entirely. His revelation is basically, oh my god, the bomb I made to kill people killed people. Hubris, which is pride, normally one wouldn't be able to say Oppenheimer was a proud person. Technically, none of his behaviors were outright proud. However, his refusal to back down from his leftist views and insistence on his innocence despite that caused his conviction and the removal of his scientific licenses. You would think, in such a scary time for being suspected of something like this, people would, simply go along with whatever the populace thought and not possess any risky opinions, at least in public. Oppenheimer apparently did not think that way. He continued to speak out against some of the government's actions, especially the production and usage of atomic bombs in warfare, which he helped create. Being unwilling to pander to the people and the federal government is really risky, especially in a time like this. Robert, you could have gotten arrested. He did not, but he could have. Redeeming qualities and misfortune through association. Oppenheimer was not a bad person by any account. Yes, he had a questionable past, but who doesn't? His downfall wasn't even entirely due to him. McCarthyism went hand in hand with hubris in this situation and had a very big impact on his downfall. He was a very intelligent man, obviously. He was a leading scientist on the Manhattan Project. But following his downfall, people associated with him began to suffer suspicion simply because they knew him. His refusal to back down any of his political beliefs literally caused people around him harm. To summarize, hubris had to do with Oppenheimer not wanting to back down from being a leftist. Anagnorisis is Oppenheimer's revelation that, oh my god, my bomb killed people. Peripatio was his past involvement in the Communist Party and just general time period that he was alive, with the Red Scare going on and all that. Hamartia being the fact that he used to be associated with the Communist Party and the fact that the bomb he made killed people. Anyway, that was my presentation on why this guy is tragic.